welcome. You're watching Viewpoint with me, Grihatul Siddiqui. Our top focus today is the Anna Bhagya scheme in Karnataka. One of the 5 guarantees of the Congress ahead of the assembly elections in the state, promising 10 kg of grain per month to every member of all the below poverty line families in the state. And for this, the state has a monthly requirement of 2.28 lakh metric tons of rice. Now, needless to say, the Siddaramaiah government is facing an uphill battle in implementing the Anna Bhagya scheme from July 1st, especially so due to the unavailability of the required amount of rice after the Food Corporation of India has stopped the sale of rice to the state governments from June 12th. A decision that has encouraged the Congress in the state to accuse the Narendra Modi-led union government of quote-unquote conspiring to scuttle the scheme, even as the FCI says that the curbs on the sale of rice were aimed at regulating price rise. Now remember, amid concerns over monsoon, climate change and the geopolitical situation, the FCI must maintain enough stocks for undertaking timely market intervention to keep prices under control and also discontinuing grains under the Open Market Sale Scheme or the OMSS to the state governments is claimed to be one such decision taken in that very direction. And while all this puts the Congress on a sticky wicket, trusts the BJP to reap benefits out of their misery by holding counter-protests in parts of the state against the Congress government's alleged failure to provide 10 kg of rice to each member of BPL families. With several of the BJP leaders, including the former Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, also quoting detention.
They are doing hate politics. This is anti-poor. Basavaraj Bommai should have spoken to government of India.
Still, I appeal to the central government, don't do politics on the poor man's stomach. It is not your rice, it is the farmer rice.
Just because the people of Karnataka didn't vote for the Modi-Shah duo, they are refusing to allow us to procure rice from the Food Corporation of India.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೊಂದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೊಂದು. ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
So let's first get your timeline of what this controversy is all about. Why is the Congress really protesting against the government at the center of blocking this particular Anna Bhagya scheme, which is meant for the benefit of poor? Now, what has happened on June 8th is that the Karnataka government, in fact, decided to roll out from July 1st. This is what has happened, that the government, in fact, rolled out a scheme, a policy decision that was made that actually spoke about pulling out from the central funds when it is about giving rice and wheat to the state governments. And that decision was made in the inter-ministerial meeting that happened on June 8th. It was not the Karnataka government, it was the state government who went about doing that, a correction there. Now, what has happened is that on that very day, June 8th, is when the state government officials, in fact, held talks with the Food Corporation of India. Now, that is where the clash really has happened, and that is why the Congress is claiming that right after the conversation began with the Food Corporation of India of the Congress government in Karnataka is when the central government decided to roll out that policy that actually blocks the FCI of providing food grains to the state governments. Now, on June 9, Karnataka government sought 2.28 lakh metric tons of rice from the Food Corporation of India. Later, what happened on June 12th is that the Food Corporation of India agreed to send 2.22 lakh metric tons of rice to Karnataka. They, in fact, sent out 2 letters of agreement that claim that out of the 2.28 which was demanded, they can go ahead and provide 2.22 lakh rice. June 13th is when the centre discontinued wheat and rice sales to state via Food Corporation of India. That's when the implementation of the policy that was decided on June 8th was made official. That's when the announcement really was made, and hence this becomes a bone of contention. In fact, on June 13th is when this was also put out that there are certain exceptions to the state, that this exception is for the northeastern states, also for the hilly regions, hilly states, and also in the case of natural calamities. Further, they went on to say that the order is to go ahead and quote-unquote control inflation and also to maintain central stocks. That was the reason that was given by the central government to go ahead and implement this change in the OMSS scheme that was not now meant for the states. Now, let me actually open this up for debate. Mohan Vishwa of the BJP is with us on the broadcast on Viewpoint this evening. Also with us is Ashpreet Kadyal of the Congress Party, and senior journalist B.S. Arun is also joining us. Mr. Vishwa, let me begin this with you. Now, considering this particular policy decision was only implemented and announced on 13th of June, the Congress claims that this is a desperate attempt by the central government, and it also speaks about desperation by the Modi-led administration, considering they've lost elections in Karnataka. So they are not really keeping in mind the benefits of the poor. They're just about going about scuttling the Anna Bhagya scheme that's been announced by the Congress party in the state. How do you respond?
Regarding the blame game of Congress government, we told that day itself, the day when they came into power, we knew that they are not going to implement all the guarantees. They are going to show their fingers toward the center. We are told that, and the same thing is happening now. My question is very clear over here. When there was a rule made by FCI that was applicable for entire India, not only for Karnataka. See, there is a BJP rule state. For example, there is something in Gujarat. There is, we have a ruling in Madhya Pradesh also. Come on, Madhya Pradesh elections is also nearing. Do you think it is done for the sake of elections? No, nothing like that. And also, like as you said, the decision was taken on June 8th itself. Officially would have been communicated on 12th. So intentionally looking at the decision taken, looking at the implementation date only, Siddaramaiah government have written this. It was made intentionally. It is not that unintentionally, just to blame the government. Now they know that, they can't supply anything. So our question is very clear. Come on, you have open market in Karnataka itself. So there is a place called Gangavati, which is known as, the richest place where the paddy is grown in Karnataka itself. Let them go and buy there and let them give it to the people of poor people of Karnataka. Who is denying that fact? And also, let me tell you, and also there is an issue with the rain also in the state of Karnataka now, and also in most of the parts of the state. So basis that only FCI have taken a decision. And you know that there is an exception for northeastern state. This is done with a good intention, not with a bad intention.
So when you mention failing monsoons and also the rain in Karnataka, why does it not form find mention in this entire interministerial meet that was held on June 8th? Nothing about the monsoons really was part of the minutes of the meeting, something that has been shared with the media. Why not?
No, that was not part of the meeting. What I am telling is, keeping that also in the mind, they would have taken that call. And also the price fluctuation, if you see on June 7th, there was 8% increase on wheat price. So that's the key point which we are missing over here. So because of that only FCI, made such kind of policy. So there is a scientific explanation for that. As I told you, it is applicable for all the state. We are asking very clear now, at least people of Karnataka knows that it's Narendra Modi ji who gave 5 kg of rice from past 4 years for 80 crore plus Indian, that too for 7 crore plus Kannadigas from past 4 years. That fact is known. And also, if you recall, between 2013 to 2018, when Siddaramaiah was the chief minister, the central government, the Modi-led government was giving 27 rupees for the rice, and the Siddaramaiah government was giving only 3 rupees for the packing material. And by giving 3 rupees for the packing material, they were claiming that they're giving entire amount of rice to the people of Karnataka. So that's the lie they spread. Even now also they're spreading the same lie.
No, Mr. Vishwa, I want to understand this one thing. There was a policy decision that was decided. The first proposal was implemented, or possibly the conversation began on the 8th of June. Why did it not reach the FCI when the FCI went ahead and agreed to giving those 2.22 metric tons of rice to Karnataka?
No, it was not on June 8th. Let me recall, it started on May 2nd. all this explanation at the center started on May 2nd itself, where there was not even what election happened in the state of Karnataka. It started then. From then, these discussions were happening. It was taken scientifically, just like that, in a day or two, it has not been taken. And also, I have to ask one more question to my, Congress spokesperson or Siddaramaiah over here. If he's procuring so much of tons of rice for the state of Karnataka for the welfare of the poor, where is a communication between Chief Minister or Secretary and with that of the central ministry? Where is the central ministry over here? Has Mr. Siddaramaiah gone and met the minister, or our chief secretary has gone and met the secretary? Where is that communication? FCI is only a stockholding place. So beyond that, there's a ministry, right? These guys would have gone and they would have spoken over there. Why that communication is missing here? Why that point nobody is rising here? Even today, Siddaramaiah has not spoken to the central ministry. Why is keeping quiet then?
Okay, let me actually bring in Ashpreet Kadyal on this. Ashpreet, would you like to actually throw light on all of these allegations that the BJP really is making? I'll go further and speak to Mr. Vishwa about the counter protests that the BJP is also organizing in the state of Karnataka. But for these points, as they claim that they have nothing to do with the deliberate rollout of this particular policy decision that's been made against the Anna Bhagya scheme that has been rolled out by the Karnataka government.
Thank you very much for the question. First things first, let's look at the chronology here. A promise was made by the Congress party that it would provide people below the poverty line with free food grains. Chronology number 2, a request was sent from our party, from our government, for free food grains so that we can procure it. Number 3, we get a confirmation from the FCI, and this is the confirmation. You can see it on the screen. Unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson, I wouldn't just say things which are up in the air. I would talk with facts and evidence. Now, number 4, after the confirmation has come from FCI, a directive gets issued from the center that you cannot do it. Now, the problem here is the 12th of June, a confirmation comes from FCI. 13th of June, the center issues a directive, which goes on to suggest that it's 100% an afterthought. 100% the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to torpedo.
But Ashpreet, why are you discounting the 8 June meeting? Why are you discounting the 8 June meeting?
One second. Talking of the meeting, now please do not interrupt me. It's number 1.
Please go ahead.
See, if we see it clearly, communication is not equivalent to a directive or a notification. Communication is communication. Whatever the BJP says is not the law of the land unless it's a directive or it is there in something intangible form. There was nothing at all whatsoever because of which the FCI agreed to it. Now let's understand one thing. FCI is not just a normal body, it's one of the biggest bodies we have in India. And if the FCI is agreeing to it, that means there has been no directive at all whatsoever. It was an afterthought of the Bharatiya Janata Party that they did not want the poor to feed themselves, their families. They do not want the welfare of the people. All they want is to do politics. All they want is that the people shouldn't be able to appreciate the Congress party if they are delivering something that they promised in first 9 weeks, something that the BJP could not do in 9 long years. The promises made in 2014 are still, undelivered, and we are delivering things in 9 weeks itself. Number 4, you see, the Bharatiya Janata Party should tell me one thing. These food grains that we are talking about, they are rotting in godowns. And just because, you think that the Congress party would be delivering upon their promise, people would appreciate that you are trying to torpedo it. What about the rotting of the food grains? You are anyway destroying it. It would have gone into somebody's stomach. It would have fed some families. Some poor people would have been able to eat.
When the Siddaramaiah government, or in fact when Congress made that guarantee, the 5 guarantees, out of which 10 kilograms of rice per individual, per family of families which are the BPL families in Karnataka was made, when the promise was made, clearly they were not really piggybacking on the central government to help them with the procurement of rice. So why are you actually making that point? That'll go against you.
Yes, I'll tell you what. See, the point was never that the central government is supposed to help us. It was never the point. What is to be seen here? That the Congress party made a promise. Congress party is trying their 100% to deliver upon the promise. Has gotten a confirmation also from the requisite body FCI. And after that, the Bharatiya Janata Party has to intervene, has to stop it, torpedo it, just because it is not the government that is doing it. And this step motherly treatment
that's a legitimate point.
And this step motherly
treatment, yes, Ashpreet is making a legitimate point. Mohan Vishwa, I would bring you back in. The fact that I would repeat the question that I asked you earlier. If there was some sort of a decision that was made on June 8th, why did you wait till the 13th of June for the announcement of that implementation? That was a day after the Congress received a confirmation note by the FCI.
See, I'm telling you, you are missing again. It started from May 2nd. Why you're going
Whenever
only to
it started,
June 8th?
why June 13th
Exactly.
is my question.
No. May 2nd to June 8th, there is a chronological order. This is that only they have done it. Okay? So just because, the Congress, I'm telling you, you think other way around, Congress would have sent a letter intentional knowing the fact that, by hiding June 8th meeting, minutes of the meeting, they would have done that, right? You should ask the same question to him. And my Congress spokesperson who is sitting here.
No, but what does the Congress have to do about an interministerial meeting?
This is what happens if you listen to a PR consultant and do elections. After that, if you take him also as a consultant to run the government. Without even
just answer my question. I mean, there is no point personal attacking the Congress party, personally attacking the Congress.
It's not a personal attack. No, it's a fact. I'm telling you.
I just want to understand the fact that if there is something that's been decided in the interministerial meeting, and I'm concentrating on June 8th, because if the deliberation started on June 2nd, I take your point there, because it is mentioned also that after the deliberations on 2nd of June, we have come to the conclusion, and all of those points have been mentioned. But why was it not communicated to the Food Corporation of India is the question.
See, between June 8th and June 13th, there is hardly 5 days gap. Please do understand. And this has to be circulated across India for all the state. And Congress, knowing the fact that in the June 8th meeting, it was decided they deliberately have written that letter. Please do understand this fact. And my friend, even now, he has not answered the basic question, why there is no communication between the Chief Minister and the Central Minister as far as these goods are concerned. Why there is no communication between the Chief Secretary and the Secretary of the particular ministry. Why they are communicating only between
so
the
there are too many
FCI.
conspiracy theories. Arshpreet Kadyal, the Congress is being accused of knowing about the interministerial meeting that happened on the 8th, and that's why the Congress decided to send a letter to the FCI on that very day. That's the accusation now coming up from the BJP. Your response?
Right. I'll put this accusation to rest once and for all. I talk with evidence, and I can show you the confirmation of the FCI. Here it is on the screen, and the date is right here. It's mentioned right here.
Yes.
Which says,
we presented that, Arshpreet. We've got that.
Show the
8th
meeting minutes also, right? Why are showing on the 13th one?
Please hear me out. All I'm saying is that we have cogent evidence. We have proof to show that we have confirmation. The Bharatiya Janata Party should understand one thing. Your communication is not equivalent to a direction or a notification or announcement. Nobody knows what you're talking about within the four walls of the room.
No, but they are saying now, you guys knew about the meeting. They are saying you guys knew about the meeting.
No. How can they say, is there any proof to it that we knew about the meeting? Let's say we knew about the meeting for the sake of arguments. Is that equivalent to an announcement? Is that equivalent to a directive? Is that equivalent to a notification? The answer is no. You can't just assume that people would think that just because you don't want, there won't be any food grains. I'm sorry, please do not interrupt. Hear me out. He said, the gentleman from the BJP said, it started in May. Now my question is, and I hope this would be, harped upon. Please tell me one proof, one evidence that in May you had this so-called discussion happening within the four walls of the room that we're not supposed to be doing this. Show me one proof, one cogent, tangible thing that would suggest that it actually happened and it's not concocted. Show me one thing and I'll give up.
You're talking about the June 8th meeting, or you're talking about some meeting that happened in May, Arshpreet?
He said no, that this started in May.
They started on 2nd of June is what they have said. No, they do have evidence.
He said May.
Okay.
See here.
All right.
See, let me tell you. Me tell you one thing. Congress, since they have promised, I'm telling you, they have a lot of funds which is available here.
Okay.
Instead of
Listen, what I'm going to do right now, Arshpreet and Mohan Vishwa, I'd request you to just hold your horses there. There's too much of a two-way conversation and a back and forth that is happening over here because it's BJP and Congress in the House. Let me actually bring in a neutral voice, senior journalist B.S. Arun, who's very, very patiently waiting, listening to this entire discourse. Mr. Arun, what really is happening in Karnataka? Anything which is to do with the Congress's 5 guarantee is either being blocked, at least the accusation is such, by the BJP, or the BJP is saying why is it not being implemented and hence the counter protest. What do you think is happening here?
Well, as you know, 5 promises were made by the Congress party, and once they came to power, they have started implementing one by one. The first one was about the free travel for women in the government buses. The ordinary government buses, not the express buses. Now, the second major thing is going to be this Anna Bhagya scheme.
Yes.
10 kg of rice to the deserving beneficiaries. So it's here that the problem has arisen. The suspicion has come because of the chronology of events. The official who addressed the press when the FCI and the Food Ministry, the Consumer Affairs Ministry, took the decision in a meeting, I think it was last week. The dates of these, interministerial meeting and all were not disclosed to the best of my knowledge.
Yes.
What was disclosed was that the FCI cannot give the rice to the states now, and because of the inflation, controlling inflation.
But sir, that also was only disclosed on the 13th of June, as per our knowledge.
Yes, that's what I'm coming to. So only this factor was disclosed. The chronology is, that's what the Karnataka government also is, latching upon, is that, we held a discussion with the FCI here in Bangalore. They agreed to supply. And after we informed that to the center, the FCI has said that it cannot give. So there is the primary, suspicion about the whole, issue. Now, the fact is, after the FCI has denied, rice to Karnataka, Karnataka government has been holding meetings with the different state governments, and now the Aam Aadmi Party government of Punjab has agreed to chip in and supply rice to Karnataka.
Yes.
But there is an issue here, whether Karnataka will be, even after this, whether Karnataka will be able to launch the program from July 1st because of several factors. The rates have to be agreed upon.
Yes.
The rice has to be procured from Punjab. Transport has to be done. Rakes have to be, arranged. Then the godown facility in Karnataka. We don't know what is the facility right now in Karnataka. Whether there are godowns to, fill up this quantity of rice, and then whether this, rice can be given every month to the beneficiaries. So there are lots of questions. Right now is, today we have seen the protests also from the Congress party, the ruling party, which normally hold protests.
Yes.
So various things are happening. On each of these guarantees, there are issues, there are problems. And right now, today, 1 hour back, I heard that even the website, of giving one of these guarantees has been hacked. And we don't know what are the issues that are coming out of it. So in each and every guarantee there is a problem, and one hopes that the guarantees are properly implemented as promised to the people.
Mr. Arun, I would also want to understand this one aspect. As the Modi government had announced free rice, 5 kgs per family to all the BPL families since COVID. At least that is what is the claim that's been made by several leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Do you think by the Congress's Anna Bhagya, where they are promising double that amount of rice, it is also sort of unsettling the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that's why possibly an attempt to block the Anna Bhagya scheme? At least that's what also is the argument. So what is your view on all of this that has been put as part of the discourse?
See, wherever possible, every political party tries to take advantage of the situation.
Yes.
In Karnataka, it's the same. The BJP is trying to say that, this government is incapable of meeting these promises, the promises that were made, and because of which the people voted the Congress into power. Although I have a different opinion, it's not just the guarantees. There are many other factors, including corruption, the misgovernance of the BJP, etc., and etc. So there are many other issues. But then BJP has been, saying that it's the guarantees on which the people voted them to power. But this government is not, meeting those promises. So there, and also, to ensure that, the government doesn't meet these promises, it's picking up also holes in those issues. One of them is rice. Another is, the problems that is being faced by the government in the free travel scheme. Okay. And now the third and one of the most important perhaps is giving the 200 up to 200 units of power to the people.
Yeah,
yes, to the people.
All right, Arshpreet, I would bring you in now. There was an important point that Mr. Arun also raised. Why is the Congress, which is now in power in Karnataka, holding protests within its own state? Isn't it bizarre? What does it make the Congress party into, if at all you're protesting, even if it were against the centre, why protest in your own state? Why not do something about the situation at hand and make good the situation, considering these are the promises that you guys have made to the people of Karnataka?
Thank you. Number one, it's a matter of Karnataka. Therefore, the protest would also happen in Karnataka. What is it happening against? Against the step-motherly treatment that the Bharatiya Janata Party subjects to non-BJP ruled states. Number three, we already have found a solution. We are procuring the food grains and the poor will get it. They will feed their families. Your agenda will not be fulfilled. Now, let's get to the point, the main point. I said, do you have any proof that there was prior intimation? There has been no proof shown because there exists none. Number two, it's only a voice up in the air without proof, without tangible evidence. Now, what we say is we have evidence. We have gotten confirmation from the FCI. And if there was any prior intimation, why would the FCI in the first place give confirmation? If there would have been an announcement, this is the second point which goes in our favor, which shows that the Bharatiya Janata Party is lying. Number three, let's put everything aside. What's true, what's not, what's the chronology. At the end of the day, this is about the people below the poverty line.
Yes.
This is about feeding the poor. So why does the Bharatiya Janata Party not give up on this thing? Why does the Bharatiya Janata Party not want the poor families to be fed? Why do you always want to do politics?
Mohan Vishwa, I would want your answer and response and, sharp response to this one question, because it's a question that will come back. If at all it was decided, why was it not communicated to the FCI, and why did the FCI agree to provide food grains to Karnataka? This is the question that is still lurking, and we haven't got an answer to this. So clear fingers and accusatory fingers at not just the Bharatiya Janata Party but also the FCI. There is someone who is to blame here. Who is that person?
See, there is a February 8 minutes of the meeting which I told very categorically. That day only it was decided, and my friend said only for non-BJP states. I'm telling you it is for all the states. Let him go and read that notification properly. Let me tell you, this is purely attention-diving tactics by the Congress government in the state of Karnataka, because they are not able to fulfill the promises they have given. Let me tell you one more thing. Silently, they have increased the power tariff. The power tariff has doubled literally at the same time.
No, let's not go to the power. If at all there is a policy decision that's been made, Mohan Vishwa, if there is a policy decision that has been made claiming that there are food grains that need to be maintained by the Food Corporation of India, why not give it to the poor? Why reserve it to private players? There's also an accusation that the Modi government is trying to benefit the big cartels with this decision. How do you respond to that, sir?
No. As far as power is concerned, let me tell you, Congress government, what did they do? The moment they came into power, they stopped all the tenders, they stopped all the contracts, they stopped all the payments. When they have a right, when they have a power to stop all these things, do you think they don't have powers to go and stop the power tariff? They should have done it, right? Why they did not do it?
We're not talking about power tariff. I'm talking about rice. I'm talking about food grains. Let's concentrate on that, because it is about the BPL families that are going to be severely impacted because of the decision.
Exactly, I'm telling you, it's our Modi government from past 4.5 years who is giving 5 kgs of rice at free of cost to BPL families, that to more than 80 crores across India. We don't have any such intention of blocking anything. I'm telling you, it was decided on June 8th itself, the minutes of the meeting which you have, I have, which has come in the newspaper also, which has been discussed in the news channels also from past 2 to 3 days. I don't think so, I should
so the question still remains, and nobody is willing to answer that question, that why did the FCI still go ahead and give a nod to the Karnataka government of giving them 2.22 metric tons of rice? That becomes the big question, if at all there was a policy decision that was made against it. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohan Vishwa, Ashpreet Kadyal and Mr. B.S. Arun for joining us on the broadcast on this big debate that's coming out of Karnataka. We're slipping into a very short break, but on the other side, the Shiv Sena legacy war escalates, with the Aghadi parties commemorating the anniversary of Shinde's coup as Traitors' Day. That debate after a very, very short break.